Hey, so this week for Funeral Fact Friday, we're going to be talking about the different types of headstones you might see when you come to a cemetery. Let's go. So the first type of marker that we're going to talk about today is a flat marker or a land marker. So land or flat markers are markers that lay level to the ground and are oftentimes made out of granite. These particular types of markers are often used when you want something that's going to be a little easy to maintain in a cemetery, or if you want something that can lay flat so you can put things around the headstone. So after a flat marker, the next most common type of marker that you might find in a cemetery is going to be a beveled marker. So a beveled marker is going to look identical to a flat marker, however, it's going to have an angle to it. This angle to it makes it a lot easier to read when you're coming out from a distance. It also makes it easier to clean. So the next type of marker that we're going to be talking about is the slant marker. Now the slant marker is oftentimes seen in the cemetery with or without the base that it's attached to. When you first come into a cemetery and you see a marker that looks like this, it's oftentimes designed for its visibility purposes. So you can see them from the beginning of the cemetery, whether you're in your car, or sometimes you can see it clear on the other side of one. Slant markers are most often used for visibility purposes. So the next one that you will see if you come into a cemetery is most likely going to be the most traditional one that you think of when you think of a headstone, and that's going to be your upright headstones. Now, upright headstones are headstones that sit on a base and are vertical in position. These are oftentimes made out of granite and are known to be some of the most durable headstones that you can have in a cemetery. So the next one that we're going to talk about are your bench monuments. Now, bench monuments are oftentimes utilized as both a grave and a memorial. In this case, this particular bench is being used as a memorial to help reflect the family who is buried over here. Benches are oftentimes a very nice way for families to still spend time with each other, whether that's in life or death. So the next one that we're going to talk about is called a curved headstone. A curved headstone is still going to have your traditional upright headstone to signify who is buried at this place. However, there's going to be an outline that surrounds the front of the headstone. It's oftentimes going to be filled with rocks or plants or sand, and it's just a family's unique way of personalizing the grave for their loved one. This next one that we're going to talk about is another unique type of headstone that you may find in your local cemetery, and that is going to be your custom headstones. Now, this particular headstone has an angel holding on to a heart surrounded by roses with a really pretty flower vase left off to the side. This is just a way that the family used to memorialize their loved ones. Oftentimes with these particular headstones, you'll see that it's for two people, maybe a husband and wife, a mother and a child, a father and a son, or a father and a daughter. It really is dependent on the family, but ones like these you'll typically find have two people with them. So the last type of headstone that we're going to talk about in our headstones video is not actually a headstone at all, but rather a grand tribute to an entire family. And those are called mausoleums. Now, mausoleums are going to be your above ground buildings that are oftentimes made out of granite, marble, or other types of stone, and they symbolize where an entire family is going to be buried.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Funeral Fact Friday. At Mansfield Funeral Home, we are honored to guide and support you every step of the way.
If you found this video informational, please like, comment, and subscribe in order to stay connected with us. And remember, planning ahead brings peace of mind, and knowledge brings comfort. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go look at some really cool headstones. I'll see you next week.